Hi y'all, it's Andrea over at Sewspire.com, and today we are going to begin sewing a miniature duffel bag that is sized for everyday use, and I have designed to personally use as a handbag. And so we're going to begin by crafting the exterior front and rear panels, which I have one of those pre-made here. So there's the accent panel on the base, which measures 4 inches by 12, and then the top accent panel measures 3.5 inches by 12, and the strap is 6 inches wide by 26 inches long. And I'm going to show you how to assemble that second panel now. And so we're going to need to begin by crafting the strap, which is assembled in the standard Sewspire method. You're going to take that long strip of fabric, press it long ways in half, and then open that up and bring those outer edges inward to meet on that center press line. Press again, and then I like to insert a 3-inch strip of quilt batting down that center channel and bring those outer edges inward again. Press, and then fold everything over and press one more time. I begin by stitching down that open edge first, and then I come along the folded edge, and for this project I'm going to add a center accent, so it's like a ribbed strap there with 3 stitch lines across. Okay, and I have a nice finished strap there with that center accent. Then you're going to take your 4-inch and your 3.5-inch panels, and that shorter panel goes on the top and the wider panel goes on the base, and you're going to position the strap so that it overhangs that bottom floral panel slightly, and it's definitely is less than an inch. And then you want to measure in 2.5 inches from each side. Okay, and then once you have your strap in place, 2.5 inches from each end, and at this point the strap is kind of upside down because this is the bottom panel on that. Then you're going to take your top accent and position that right on top of the bottom accent and the strap, and you're going to go ahead using 3/8 of an inch seam allowance, stitch all the way across there to secure the strap. And then I like to come in and trim off that excess right to the 3/8 of an inch. And then when you open that up, you should be able to fold that strap forward and just fold that handle over so that it sits nice and normal like this. And then I do like to give this a good press, and I am going to add a piece of batting in the same size to the back of that, and go ahead and smooth that out and then give it a nice press. And then I'm going to run a row of top stitching right above that floral panel so that I can secure that strap in the upward position, as well as attach this panel to the quilt batting. And I'm just coming in right above the floral, and the edge of the foot is sitting right on that seam. And that's what it looks like. And so now I need to create my side pockets, which are going to sit on the side panels of this bag. And so those are made from 6 by 6 inch squares of fabric, which I have a nice accent and then the floral. And so I'm going to position those right sides facing and just stitch across that top edge. And then I want to take this joined panel over to the iron and let a bit of that accent fabric pop up over the edge there so that it creates some added interest on that side pocket. After you press that from the back, there will be some difference there. We're going to end up aligning that at the shorter end. So this is technically excess, but I like to have a lot of leeway there. So I prefer to cut them both at the same width and height. And so now I just want to come across that floral and add 1 row of top stitching there to secure the 2 layers. And then I have a 7-inch tall by 6-inch wide side panel. There are 2 of those backed with quilt batting. And then right across that top, I put in 4 decorative rows of top stitching. That's completely optional, but I think it does add a lot of interest to the pocket. And so then I just position that finished pocket right below my 4 rows of stitching, aligning that interior of the pocket with the bottom edge of that side panel. And I'll pin everything in place. And then I just want to make sure that both of my pockets are falling at approximately the same place on the panel. So I'll line those up. And then once I'm happy with that orientation, then I'll pin the pockets in place. And now we're going to bring back over one of the front and or rear panels, and those pockets are going to be positioned on top of that panel, right sides facing, aligning the sides. If there's any variation in the height of your panels, you'll want to make sure the top is aligned nice. And that variation would come from piecing those 2 panels and the variation in our seam allowances, but it shouldn't be so great that it makes a very big difference in the size of the bag. So I like to just fold back those panels and peek and make sure everything is laying as I'd hoped. And then once you have those side panels pinned in place, go ahead and stitch down the right and the left hand sides using 5/8 of an inch seam allowance. And then after attaching the side panels, again, I like to open that up, give it a good tug, make sure everything is secure. And if it is, then I trim away that excess, and I'm taking this down to about 1/4 inch. And so now I have my tri-folding panel with the front panel and the 2 sides attached. So I'm going to set that aside for a few moments. And then for the base of this project, I have selected a brown waxed canvas, and I have backed that with some quilt batting, and this also measures 7 by 12. And so I'm just going to position that right side's facing on that remaining panel with the handles, and I'm going to stitch across the base using the 5/8. And then once I've verified everything is attached securely, I'm going to trim that down to the 1/4 inch. And that's what that looks like. Now I'm going to bring back over my tri-folding panel, open that up, and I'm going to lay it on top of that base panel and align those long edges, and then stitch seam to seam. Then when I open that up, I should have something that looks like a very large T. And once I am confident those panels are securely attached, I'm just going to trim away that excess on the last seam. And now I want to take these sides and align them with the opposite accent panel there with the handle on it. And again, the priority is aligning that top edge, and there will be overhang at the base from the pocket and possibly from the body panel. That's why you just want that top edge aligned. And once you get everything pinned in place, then you can peek inside before you attach those sides to make sure that nothing has shifted and you do like the orientation of that. And at this point, you should have a better idea of the size of the bag. Okay, and so when I look inside of there, everything looks good. I'm kind of looking to make sure that the pocket is still straight and that those accent panels are falling in approximately the same space on each side of the pocket. And so once you're happy with how that looks, then you're going to stitch from the top to that seam. And repeat that process on the opposite side. And then if everything is attached securely, you can go ahead and trim away that excess at the side seams. And now the bag is really taking shape. You just want to push out any excess fabric from those bottom corners, pull that nice and taut, and align that fabric so that you're coming in at least 5/8 of an inch from the shortest piece, and then stitch seam to seam. And then go ahead and trim away all of that excess. And then turn that project right side out. It is super cute. And then I'm just going to take the top edge of that exterior and fold it over approximately 1/2 inch and pin that in place all the way around the edge. And then I like to flatten that and go ahead and secure the handles with pins as well so that they don't get twisted or flop around. And that's what the exterior is going to look like. It's really fun, and that strap is just long enough for me to put it over my arm. We are going to create a zipper top closure for this, so that will definitely give it the boxy shape versus that elongated look, which is also super cute though too. So I see a future design in that as well. So for today, we're gonna wrap up with just the exterior, and then I'll join you next Tuesday to show you how to craft the interior and install that zipper top closure. I hope you have fun creating your exteriors. It's really an opportunity to choose some interesting fabric combinations because you have a couple of places in which you can add an accent fabric to this. You have the side pockets, you have the top panel, as well as the base. So please have fun with that and share pictures of your progress over on the Sewspire group Facebook page. I want to thank you all for sewing with me today. It's always a pleasure to design with you, and I shall be looking forward to finishing this project up next week. I hope you have a beautiful week, and as always, the creative genius in me will be celebrating the creative genius in you. Bye, everyone. I'd like to invite you to participate in my upcoming masterclass. This will be the 6th session of this masterclass. We always have a ton of fun. We will be designing a much larger travel duffel bag that has 3 separate interior compartments. You will also have the option to design your own custom piece if you like. In every single session of AMC, everyone's projects always blow me away, and they're always completely different. So if you want to make some new friends and be inspired, you are welcome to join us. That begins July 6th, I believe. It is a patron only exclusive offer. You can get in at the $5 level if there's still seats available, or at the $10 level. So I will put the link to my Patreon page down in the notes as well if you're interested. Otherwise, I will see everybody next Tuesday.